Hello. Well, we did Isaiah 40 and 41 for a little while, and then we switched to Old Testament theology. We've done 15 weeks of Old Testament theology, little snippets here and there, and we end this quest today with the Hebrew grammar of Deuteronomy 22, verses 1, 2, and 15. And next week on Monday, we will start our trek through 1 John in Greek, doing a verse a day during the weekdays, Lord willing. But let's go ahead and look at the grammar, first of all, of Deuteronomy 28, 1 and 2. We did the letters, the pronunciation on Monday, had a podcast on Deuteronomistic theology, a little bit, snapshot, on Wednesday. So now let's do the grammar of our verses. So, v'haya, va is and, as you know, and then haya is he, she, or it was. And it was. Although here, again, time isn't really the essence of a Hebrew verb. And so the context really pushes us to render it something like, and it will be. But there's a sense of definitiveness to it, I would say, because it's the perfect tense of haya, to be. And it will be if, shamoah, hearing, tishma, hearing you hear. If hearing you hear, this is a very Hebraic construction. Hearing you hear. This is called an infinitive absolute. There are two kinds of infinitives. We'll see the second kind of infinitive here on the second line. This first infinitive absolute, I guess it's called an absolute because it stands on its own, whereas this infinitive construct here can have prepositions or suffixes on it. But this is an infinitive absolute. Hearing, you will hear. This is an imperfect. If hearing, you will hear. If you certainly hear, or if you surely hear, if you definitely hear, if you really hear, something like that, I would guess. So the holem vav in the second, between the second and third consonant, is a sign of the infinitive absolute. So if hearing, you will hear with the voice. Now, bum usually means with or in, but it doesn't work here very well. I would have preferred to have a la to the voice. But we get the sense here. If hearing, you will hear to the voice of Yahweh, your God, Eloheka, your God. There's your on the end, the pronominal suffix, or possessive suffix here, I guess we would call it, your God, Elohim being the generic word for God, and this being the name of God. So if hearing, you will hear to the voice of your God, lishmor, these two are infinitive constructs. They're the type of infinitive that can take a preposition on the front. So this is to keep, to do. I'd like an and in there. If we were creating a Ken Schenck translation, we'd probably put an and in there. If you listen to the voice of the Lord your God, so that you, with the result that you keep and do, kind of purpose lamed, or result lamed, et. This says the words that follow are direct object marker, or the direct object. So to keep and to do what? To do everything, or to do all his commandments. So mitzvot is commandments, and then the vav is his commandments. Mitzvah, bar mitzvah, I guess, comes from this. All the commandments, all his commandments, asher, that, this is the relative pronoun, that I, Anoki, am commanding you. I guess Moses is commanding him, but he's doing it for God. It's not just his idea, it's God's idea. So this is, again, your, ka, the ka is your, possessive suffix, your, or I'm commanding you. Here it's an object suffix. Commanding you. This is a participle. Zavah. Zavah is the verb, and then the mem with a shavah under it is the pl participle, the d participle, as it were, that I'm commanding you. I'm putting into effect for you. Hayom, the day, today, is the way what that means. And Netanyahu, no, that's not it. Nataneka, and you will give, and that Yahweh, your God, gives. Now, again, this seems to be a converted perfect. by which I mean, even though it's really not the right terminology to use, that even though it's a perfect tense, it has a future connotation here. And I will give you, that is, and I'm sorry, and the Lord your God Most High will give you, Elyon, Most High, the Lord your God will give you upon all the nations of the land. Okay, let me go back and get the sense. And it will be that if hearing you will hear to the voice of Yahweh your God, in order to keep and to do all his commandments that I am commanding you today, and that the Lord your God Most High will give you in relation to all the nations of the land, something like that. This is a construct. The Seri Yod is a masculine plural construct. And then the Hey Kamatz is the, when the next letter is a Aleph. Normally it would be Hey Patak doubling, but compensatory lengthening, because gutturals just don't do lengthening. It's not in their contract. Okay, so, well, that is a lot. But there's the first verse of the day. We move on to the second verse of the day. And so all the blessings, this is the subject. Hebrew generally puts the verb first, if you haven't caught on. So bo means to come or to go. And so, and they will come is kind of the sense here. Again, even though it's perfect, I'm going to translate it future. And they, the sharuk is the they part, and they will come aleka, upon you. And they will come upon you. What will come upon you? Why, all the blessings. Habarakot, and this holum should be over the vav. But since I'm in a hurry, I won't worry about it. So all the blessings will come upon you. All ha'ela, all these blessings will come upon you. So this is good, right? If we serve the Lord, all these good things will happen to you. And then, and will accompany you. So this is this doubled scene here. Scene is a nun that is assimilated. Remember, nun assimilates when no vowel separates. So the word is nashag. And then with the H on the front and the hirik yod, it's what stem? It's the H stem, or the hifil stem, the causative stem. He will cause to accompany you all these blessings. Okay, and then there's the object suffix again. For, this implies the cause of this. For you heard, again, the tenses are flipped of what you might stereotypically think. This is an imperfect, and yet it implies something that happened. Maybe or something that's incomplete with the imperfect tense. So maybe for you are hearing, you are obeying. Maybe there's a continuous sense there, maybe. To the voice, again, the holum should be here. Again, I would prefer this to be a lamed, to the voice, but this must be what you hear with. Maybe that's just the Hebrew idiom. Because you are hearing the voice of Yahweh your God, Eloheka. Ka is the possessive, again, your God. Here it was the object, because it caused to accompany you, but basically it's a second masculine singular. It's about individuals. Accompany you, Ken Shank, come on down. So our final verse for today is the dark side of verse 1. Verse 1 talked about what will happen if you keep the commandments, if you hear the commandments. Now verse 15 starts the other side. What happens if you don't keep the commandments? So same basic structure as verse 1. And it will be, again, this is perfect, but the context clearly imply that we should speak of it in terms of the future in English. And it will be if you do not hear the voice of Yahweh your God. Okay, everybody see it? Imperfect here. You are not hearing with the voice or to the voice of Yahweh your God, in order to keep. So this is that infinitive construct again, lishmor, in order to keep, to do all his commandments. Again, same structure. Now this is a different one. Commands, and his commands that I, Anoki, am commanding you. Again, this is a PL participle, that I'm commanding you, hayom, today, and will go out, again, even though it's perfect, it works best to translate it as a future, and will go out upon you all the curses. Holam vav tav is a feminine plural. All the curses, all these curses, ha'ela, all these curses will go out and will cause to accompany you. Again, H stem, or the Hiphial stem, because of the H on the front and the Hirik Yod after the second consonant. Again, it's nashag. It's a first nun, but the nun is assimilated because no vowel separated. And then this is the second masculine singular object suffix, caused to accompany you. Well, there you have it. Deuteronomy 28, verses 1, 2, and 15. And we have now completed our kind of incomplete but selective journey through Old Testament theology. We've done some post holes. And so on Monday, Lord willing, we will begin going through 1 John, verse by verse, in Greek. This has been fun, though. My Hebrew is not as good as my Greek, but it gets better with practice, does it not? So thank you very much, and have a great day.